Welcome back to the channel, lads. Rewards are here. Game Week 361 is finished. Pretty solid weekend for us. Was really happy with my lineup choices. Was really happy with the time and effort I put into my lineup. Some weekends I'm running out of time. I'm not even getting all the lineups done. It's a bit of a mess, but it was a good effort. And I can't always say that, but it was a good effort. And we have a pretty decent pull. Pretty decent haul. Quite limited dense, but we're going to take it. First, we're going to go through our teams, but down in the pinned comments, I'm going to leave a timestamp for when the rewards are going to be open. So go down there and click the time where we open the rewards if you want to skip to that. Also going to take a quick look at the lineups for midweek at the end of the video after rewards. But let's get into it. If you could hit me with a thumbs up, that would be great. If you want to see more Sorare content, subscribe, and you'll have more Sorare content. Simple as that. But yeah, thumbs up really does help. You've heard it a million times, so would appreciate that. Okay, All-Star Limited was going really well, but chose a really poor captain choice. I mean, I think Benjamin Andre in hindsight, not even in hindsight, but that fixture was pretty good for him. But mate, you could say the same about Militao. Like Villarreal are quite good defensively. I thought they might kind of go to Madrid and have a super defensive game, and Militao would just, have a clean sheet plus be involved in a lot of the passing game. Anywho, he absolutely bricked it, and that was the difference between reward and no reward. All-Star Rare, this was actually my best lineup. 7 points off a tier 5 rare. Courtois conceding the 3 goals. Getting decent AA by the looks of it though. Yeah, 22.6 AA. Sasaki captain. The first time I actually broke up the duo of Sasaki and Araki for Sanfrecce Hiroshima. But wasn't a good choice in the end. Hector Herrera nearly scored 100, but he got sent off right at the end of the game. Jean Mota's Inter Miami didn't perform too well against Dallas, but Jean Mota still banged out a 65. Barini couldn't get anything done against Fenerbahce aside from the pretty decent and respectable AA. What a beast, Barini. Even when he bricks out, he's still doing great with the AA. No big chances missed, of course, because he's that clinical. All-Star Rare Pro. The first player that played in my All-Star Rare Pro was Elber, and he was the captain. And he banged out a 125 for me after the captain bonus. So I was like, right, my super rares have... Farman is a pretty good fixture. Not the best fixtures, but Doki had a really bad fixture away to Dortmund. And I really needed my super rares to do something, especially Doki. Doki could have had a big game against Dortmund. He can have these type of big scoring defenders can have good games against any opponent, really, if everything comes together. And then I just needed the Nagoya Grampus boys to do something, to put in a decent shift at home to Euro Red Diamonds. They didn't. Elber did great, but nobody else did. Moving on. My All-Star Super Rare team. This team came about right after this Jose Corpas reward. My first ever unique in the game. Won this guy a couple of months back from Cap 270 Super Rare. Finishing second. He plays with Zidane. He plays with Luka Zidane for Eibar. So yeah, I have been running Luka and Corpas together. Not that they need to be together. But it is nice, especially when Eibar have a decent fixture. But yeah, Corpus is quite a low scorer. He is capable of decisives. And yeah, even when he scores a 40, it's really a 60 with the boost, right? Effectively, nearly. Another duo, Rapid VN. Bergstaller, I bought this guy because I needed a super rare forward. I needed a super rare challenger forward. Specifically, I already had a rare that I won just before the World Cup, I think. And yeah, Monetzi had a really good fixture. I don't really like Monetzi. I bought 2 copies of him back in my era where I would just buy really shitty cards all the time because I didn't understand the game. But I made a few really bad super rare purchases, like bad Asia cards and Pedro Chiravea for Nantes and 2 copies of Monetzi. And Munetzi actually really hit form. Like, I'm lucky where it's kind of gone for Munetzi. He's had a string of decisive over his L15, but he's not a good AA scorer. I did sell one of those copies, and because of his recent success, he has been making it into my teams, especially with fixtures like this. But I don't like the guy, and I should really sell him on the hype. Bundesliga Amateur, get this. I believe my first reward from the free-to-plays, banging out a Tier 3 limited with the double defenders on different teams. There is a Bayern defensive stack there, brought in Jan Sommer for this game week. Yeah, it's my favorite thing about the amateur, the free-to-play, is just kind of creating and rotating your own offensive and defensive stacks throughout the weeks with your swaps, and now going to the club shop and getting an extra swap. I love it. It's so fun. At the end of the day, most of us who play this game, if not all of us, we love the idea of putting together lineups. And yeah, loving the free-to-play, loving the fact that I finished 41st. Fulkrug getting a goal away to Mainz. I was rooting for both Mainz's 6'6" forward as York and Fulkrug in that game, and they both got a goal for each side, which was great. Bundesliga Pro Limited, an absolute throwaway team from the get-go. Cap 220 was a team I actually really liked. We had a triple defensive Hoffenheim stack with a great fixture. But even with the clean sheet, you know, they just bricked it out. Not much AA, aside from that 10 points clean sheet boost, which is quite sad. But this is usually my Cap 220 strategy, like, because you can use a common card. You know, if Messi or Mbappe has a decent fixture, get them as my common with a bunch of low-scoring fillers. Like Carranza's only cost me 41 as well. I mean, he did come off the bench. That's been the issue with him, but I was expecting him to be a more consistent starter. Cap 220 rare fell apart. The United defensive stack that just didn't show up, literally. Goretzka as well, but yeah, I'm always appreciative when multiple players on a lineup just completely flop, right? Imagine I had Goretzka on one team, Shaw on another team, and Varane on another team. That's 3 teams killed. Cap 220 super rare. The strategy for this team is nothing beyond just usually having a rare keeper, which is pretty obvious. You can have a rare player, and more efficient to have a rare keeper, right? Much cheaper goalkeeper to win the same rewards and to yield the same amount of points. But yeah, Taddy away to Barcelona. A big chance missed for him. Excuse me. Yeah, big chance missed. It's a couple of times now in recent weeks. It's a couple of times in his L5 where he's just put up a really bad AA. By the way, brand new signing for this weekend. Nothing to do with the fixture, of course, but wanted to bring in Tati Castellanos. Paid 0.32 each. And as I said with Bergstaller, bringing in Bergstaller for Rapid Vienna, I needed a super rare forward. And usually when you need a position, it doesn't hurt to get 2. But what I do need is a super rare forward, Americas, badly. And he's on loan from New York. He mightn't be in the MLS next season, but he's projected to go back to New York at the end of the season, and we'll see what happens there. I just think it's a pretty solid super rare investment. 0.32 after the threshold announcement for a young forward who can play in Argentina, he can play in MLS, he can play in, you know, second division Europe. There's loads of good options for him. Cap 240 limited, the $5 threshold team did get those $5. Cha-ching. Jan Elvedi bricking out at home to Magdeburg, -6. Jelly Vossen, I believe no goals in his L5. He did have like 2 goals and 3 or something like that. He was getting a bit of traction, but he's on a bit of a dry patch now. I do want to just jog my memory on that. Might be talking shit. No, so yeah, it is the actual successful patch is more recent. Like, he was doing hot shit there, but yeah, not the best fixtures. Away to Charleroi, against Antwerp, away to Liège. It's all good. I think it's a lash and rain if you're hearing some noise there. Where are we going? Looking forward to opening those rewards now. Anyway, we'll skip through. Cap 240 rare. Absolute brutality. Fucking brutality. So Varela was the last man to play. I had 243 points, whatever happened with the Opta 1 point. But I had these points before Varela was to play. Completely predicted to play whatever. Maybe you guys had some inside info, but on Sorare data, with the predicted lineups, play sharper, Varela was supposed to play. Obviously, I was thinking about this. I was like, well, that's the cap 240 locked. After, when it was just Varela left to play, I was like, well, that's my $50 locked. And then I was like daydreaming, unless he actually did have a shock DNP. And when I saw this, I nearly kind of laughed to myself. But I'll tell you the worst part, and then we'll move on. This team had a different keeper. Bauman's like a really ideal cost, like around 36, 38 on the L15, so perfect for the cap modes. But I had a more expensive keeper, and I had the full Heerenveen stack with Simon Olsen. I believe his first name's Simon, but we had Olsen in there. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe I can get Bauman in here. Olsen is a pretty bad scorer. Varela's that kind of... Varela will never score less than a 45. Maybe my mind was in the right place, I just got unlucky, but that was Olsen in there until the last couple of hours before deadline. So yeah, pretty brutal. Cap 240 super rare, bricked out. The Vallecano boys, usually I have a 4-man Vallecano stack in All-Star Rare Pro. Stola Dmitrievski rare in goals, Lejuan defensive super rare, and the 2 midfielders super rare Palazon with a rare Garcia. And I like running the Vallecano stack, but Garcia's injury broke them up, so I put 2 of the Vallecano boys in my cap 240 super rare. I put the 2 super rares in. Made a lot of sense because they're quite kind of they're players that don't have high peaks, but they don't have low floors also, so made sense for the cap mode. Obviously, just trying at the strategy is that 250 point mark. It's probably the most bread and butter you get from this game now, or your bread and butter in this game, if you're playing super rares, is that cap 240, because it's $200 now. Rip. Lovely to see Ivan Banic back in goals for whoever the fuck it is in the Croatian league, Gorica. I bought him about a week or 2 before he started DNPing, so to see him back is nice. I really like this team, you know. I really like this team. It had Elber and Sandoval with great fixtures, like Elber with the amazing fixture. And cap 270 strategy across all scarcities is just to have a big hitting captain because of that 150% boost. And that was Elber. Brenner was good to go at home to Philadelphia. Gonna start. That man can score hat-tricks. That man's pretty prolific. Guilherme as well with a nice fixture. One of the best scoring defenders in the Turkish league. I really like this team. And Banic himself cost me 46 with a really well, it wasn't a really great fixture. They're like top 3 Croatia, but at home in a low-scoring league. What happened, cap 270? We did get a tier 3 limited at the end of the day. So even with the team underperforming, a tier 3 in this day and age, tier 3s are pretty decent. I mean, they're like old tier 1s nearly, right? Like a bad tier 1 in the olden days is now a tier 3. Maybe not. Maybe it's a good tier 2. Anywho, cap 270 rare. What's the strategy? Big hitting player with the captaincy. It's actually normally, whenever Cockju is a decent fixture. Hello there, baby. Yeah, raining a lot. Give me 1 second. So even with Cockju in the mix here, not getting his best score. Still Sehic and Selemani. Yeah, actually, the team really underperformed. But what can I say? Tier 4 rare coming in. And what was I going to say? But Cockju, for any of these good Feyenoord fixtures, Cockchew's just captain in Cap 270 rare. It's just a pretty common team. You'll see it a lot with my reward videos. Darian, oh, this was a complete throwaway team because Noppert was injured. Yeah, nothing to talk about there. Challenger Europe Limited. These two Traps defenders are a new addition to my squad. I got an offer for Pedri Limited, and I won't go in depth, but it was Girotto Rare, which kind of equaled Pedri Limited itself. And then he threw in a bunch of extra limited cards, and I don't really accept swaps. They're quite annoying for the most part, but I was like, well, this is a good swap. I'm actually just going to go and buy Pedri off the market. And he was offering these two Trabs defenders. I already had Kakir. So I was like, hey, he's just putting a Trab stack on a plate for me. I said, I'll take it. I lined him up for Challenger Limited, the defensive stack at least. I have Trezeguet also, but he's out injured. Bartra DNP'd, killed this team. It wasn't going to do anything anyway. Now here's one for you. Tier 3 rare in a very hard division. With the kind of underdog lineup. It's not a fucking Ajax stack. It's not a Bruges stack, although you do see a Clinton Mada. With an L15 of 46, by the way, captain in this team. I just had to, I mean, it wasn't really a feeling. It was bottom of the league at home. But yeah, Mike van der Horn with a great fixture as well. Groningen. Oh, what have they been doing the last 2 years? Jeffrey Hireman's absolute animal. He's on some hot form right now. Like, he has his phases, but he's on some hot form right now. Jean Malakar, brought him in for a midweek. Printed, I'm like, I can't lose. I spent like, let's see now. How much did I think it was like 0.05. Look at this. 0.03 ETH to get him, to bring him in for a midweek fixture. I believe he yielded in that midweek fixture for me, whether it was a card or a bit of ETH for the cap mode. Like I nearly made the investment back straight away, and now like I could sell him for a slight profit. Just gonna keep him though, for the time being. So yeah, really happy with Malaka. Just scoring a brace there at home. Love to see it. He made it into this challenger team as well because of the fixture. Butez bricking the clean sheet. If I'm not mistaken, okay. I'm not sure how to check when the minute. Oh no, down here. Yeah, it was the 72nd minute he conceded that goal. I remember seeing the clean sheet boost, and I was like, I'm on to a winner here. Rare Pro, we went for the underdog team, like the disadvantaged team, in that we only used one super rare. We're a bit bare on the super rare challenger cards, as you could probably imagine. That's why we brought in Bergstaller, the rapid VN forward. But anyway, Ivan Obliakov back in the CSKA team, doing bits right now, an amazing fixture. That's why he got the captaincy. Hadzimetovic at home to his former club. Sobolev with a tricky fixture, but this wasn't a super prioritized team, so put him in there knowing that he could get a goal against basically anyone in the world at home. Bart just killing the team, of course, away to Ghent, excuse me. The Union, I've had a Union defensive stack since I started playing this game. I mean, a mini one with 6'6" Burgess and Bart here. The Burgess was out injured. He also had a yellow card suspension before that, and he hasn't been scoring that well. It's like, I want the Union boys back firing at all cylinders. Champion America, really sad that it's typical South America stuff, isn't it? Or America in general. Villalaba captained, an amazing scorer. If he plays, I'm probably gonna nip the reward. Anyway, I probably would have just scraped a tier 5 anyway, so it's no biggie. Champion America rare. I won Franco Armani recently. Slot straight into this team. Javian Brown had 2 35 AAs in a row, and then had mother effing Portland Timbers at home. So I actually really prioritize this team. Rubio is away to Kansas, but it's Diego Rubio. who's an absolute legend. And Urruti, another legend in Peru, had a really bad injury for like a year, but pre-injury was just banging in goals like they were nothing. Post-injury, since he came back, he's been scoring braces off the bench. He's been just doing bits. Another one we'll just dive into really quick. With his scores. Bought him a long time ago when he was out injured, thinking, oh, I'm going to profit off this guy, because just like many Sorare cards, I was like sure I was going to profit off them because I didn't understand where the market was going or how the market could just like, just slowly tail off. Like honestly, man, just as going a quick tangent, Georgi Mamardashvili, bought him before 99% of people. Enzo Fernandez, bought him before 99% of people. Kvicha Kvarchgelia, bought him before he even went to Georgia, when he was in like the Russian league, way back when. And this is why I really went balls deep into Sorare and actually invested a lot. I thought I could really actually make decent money from these investments by just kind of doing the work and the research. Same with this Urruti guy. He's back. He was out for a long time. Let's go all. Like, look, this is a stretch from game week 250. But look at this beforehand, and then he comes back, boom, boom, boom. Not a brace off the bench, but a goal and an assist off the bench. Goal off the bench here. So with this fixture at home, I was expecting big things. He got taken off at halftime. Probably something to do with that yellow card. Maybe something to do with some match fitness, but anywho. So yeah, really one of my most prioritized teams, top 5, maybe top 7 prioritized teams. Chevy and Brown and Urruti. Urruti with the captaincy. Loving this Alexander Alvarado under 23 that I brought in though. Pretty cheap relatively. Brand new signing. Doing absolute bits. Quick tangent once again. It's going to be a long video either way, folks. For those who wanted the rewards, it's downstairs in the pinned comments. Most of you will probably just skip to that anyway. So yeah, 0.185. Boom. I was like, you know what? When the European season ends, I'm going to be lacking some under 23s. I'm going to be lacking some general players. Like, this is going to be the first off-peak. Like, this is going to be the first non-European season where we've got all these cap modes to fill, right? When Europe wasn't on last time, there wasn't that many game modes. But now there's going to be loads. We're going to need more players, folks. Bit of a throwaway team here. I mean, Jesus Ferreira was in there. Tyler Miller was in there. Tyler Miller's one of my most valuable cards. I mean, he's a starting super rare keeper in the MLS. I guess it was the bad... Oh, no, that was at home to Columbus Crew. That wasn't a bad fixture. So, yeah, a bit of a mixed team here. Like a couple of big hitters and then a couple of bad cards. Sean Davis, another one of those kind of weak super rares that I bought. Quantity over quality back in the day was where I went wrong big time. Moving on, Champion Asia, full Avispa stack. Now, this was a full Cap 240 stack. And I really wish I just stuck with it. A bit of my kind of OCD, or would I call it greed or FOMO, trying to play every division. This was a perfect Cap 240 stack. Perfect. They added up to about 247, they added up to about 238. I had like 2 points left over from the Cap 240 mode. But I realized I couldn't play Champion Asia. And I was like, well, I have no keeper for Champion Asia. I have no forward for Champion Asia. I think it was no forward limited. And I was like, I'll put these lads into Champion Asia limited. And I'll definitely have the cards to fill out Cap 240 limited. So I'll do a bit of maneuvering. But really, this was a Cap 240 team. And I should have just said, you know what, I'll skip limited Asia, because I probably am not going to get reward anyway. Just a little bit of immaturity, but you live, you learn. Champion Asia Rare. I used to always call this Champion Asia Rare my most static team, because it was the Nagoya Grampus forwards, Mateus Inagaki with Langerak, the Nagoya Grampus keeper, and then the two brilliant, most consistent defensive duo in the game nearly, Iraqi and Sasaki. But broke Sasaki and Iraqi up because Iraqi's been annoying me lately with some poor results, but lost my patience at the wrong time. See, a lot of these yellows, a lot of these 52s, 46, Sasaki was scoring really well when he was. Sasaki always scores well, and you see these low scores Iraqi was putting up. He was really letting down the duo. But as Quinny said recently, what is it? Consistent actions for consistent results or something? And we probably should have kept the defensive stack together. Ran Ogashiwa, he DNP'd for us, and that was the difference. 31 points off a reward, and that was just Ogashiwa playing the game. Rare Pro, throwaway team. These are literal leftovers. Under 23 reward lately, which I really was happy with. You'll see it in my last rewards video for last weekend, or maybe it was midweek. But I needed some reinforcements with the Asia midfielder for rare, and nice to get him. Not an amazing card, but we tried him out in a throwaway team, as I said. Speaking of weak super rare cards that I bought early on in my so rare career, prime example, Mitsumaru. There is a defensive stack going on here with Kashiwa Reysol, so not the worst strategically. Yeah, not too far off a reward, even with one super rare. Just needed a goal from Teisi Miyashiro. Now, Champ Euro. This was a throwaway team, one of my last prioritized teams. Just we're kind of leftover players. Not that Benjamin Bourgeois is a leftover player, it's just a bad fixture. Champion Europe rare, had the Madrid boys, had one of my best Champ Euro defenders in Danilo, had one of my best Champ Euro strikers, had one of the pieces to my Rayos, my broken up Rayo stack, with a meh fixture at home to Atletico. Home to Atletico is decent because there's clean sheet possibilities, and there's also you're also guaranteed to kind of concede a lot of shots against Atletico. But what I really like about this side is they all just flopped together. They all just held each other's hands and jumped off a fucking cliff, which is great because all of these players could have been all over the place in different lineups. Like I said, my Rayo stack is All-Star Rare Pro. Stole could have been there. Danilo could have been an All-Star. Valverde could have been in under 23s. Modric could have been in Champ Euro. Hosselu could have been in some cap mode, and that's 5 teams basically killed. But here, just one team killed, and Champ Euro is super competitive anyway. Champ Euro Rare Pro, I actually went at it, and I've never won a reward in this division, ever. Especially because I just didn't get so rare strategy for the first while, but I'm always entering. Ajorks actually came into a few goals, so I said I'd play him at home to Werder Bremen. Frankowski with a good fixture at home. I like the way I went for this division, but also didn't really use many big hitters. The Leverkusen defensive stack, I have Ta super rare as well, so there's a bit of a rotating Leverkusen defensive stack going on because obviously you can't play 3 defenders. But on any given day, well, not any fixture, but like a lot of fixtures, Leverkusen defensive stacks can just bang. You know, I've seen it in the Bundesliga, I've seen it in Europe. They actually did it back-to-back in Europe. They had this double fixture against some weak team where Ta and Tapsoba, against these boys here, 98, 100. Ta did the same. Ta scored like over 85s in both of those fixtures as well. And they do it in the Bundesliga quite often with the favourable fixtures. They did concede one against Frankfurt though, which was probably a bit of the difference. But anyway, Farman let us down everywhere with multiple copies of him. We bought up a lot of Schalke players pre-Second Division Europe existence. Back when they were in Bundesliga 2, Schalke. Picked them up quite cheap along with a lot of Schalke players like Malik Tia as well, who's now playing for AC. I bought 1 super rare Malik Tia, 4 rare Malik Tias. And yeah, now he's playing for AC. But again, like I was saying a moment ago about the market, and you don't even, what's sad about what's happened to the so rare market is nobody's been rewarded for these picks. And I mentioned it about Enzo and Mamardashvili and Kvaradona. Same with Tia. I picked up Tia when he was ineligible for SO5. and playing for Schalke. But because he had the most tackles per game in the Bundesliga 2, age 20, I just picked him up because I knew he had a future. Now, consistently getting clean sheets for AC. I know there's a bit of a wobble with Kjaer getting back in the team, but even at that stretch where he was playing every game, scoring 60s and 70s, I checked to see how much I would have profited off him, and I'm like breaking even. It's quite sad, really, and nobody's to blame for that. I'm just moaning because I had high expectations, and that's my own fault. Won't talk about this team. We'll just talk about Agbadu, Agbadi, Agbadman, Emmanuel Agbadman, absolute animal. Somebody who's came to my attention is his partner in crime, Abdelhamid. So if you're looking for a defensive stack, more Agbadi, more Agbadu, because this guy's 35 and doesn't quite do the same stuff. Agbadu, he's had injuries. He's been coming off the bench, but he's still putting up these numbers. If he can just get a consistent run, look what he did in 15 minutes here against Marseille. Last man tackle, 21 AA in 15 minutes. Look at it. Yeah. Pick him up. Sorry. We're nearly there, boys. La Liga Pro, we had the Espanyol boys with Lewandowski brought in, but couldn't get it done. Was there? I don't think there was a big chance missed, or he wouldn't have got that AA. Sorare with the clean sheet. Yeah, Hosselu, and look at this. Well, we were only that many points off a reward. That must have been because everyone is running Barca players, or I don't know how that happened. But yeah, a goal for either of these guys, and we're laughing with a reward. Free to play, bricked out. Nothing good there. MLS Pro Limited. Yeah, Josh Tolkien. We hold a Josh Tolkien, and we wanted to run a full New York Red Bull defensive stack. Maybe with Tolkien they could have got it done, because he's one of the MVP defenders in the MLS, the young man. Premier League Amateur, nope. Premier League Pro Limited. Now, I made some signings. I reinforced this whole team. This was a throwaway team every week. I had a Wobie. I had Klein playing for Palace, and Klein's DNP, and now I said, you know what? I love the Prem. I'm a Man United fan. I follow the Prem closely. Let me start having a go at Premier League Pro Limited. Brought in Koulibaly, $25. Brought in Højbjerg, $25, $30. Brought in Son, $40. Brought in Kepa for free, as he's from the free-to-play draft right here. You can use one player in the limited, of course. Defensive stack with Koulibaly, not just for this fixture, but for fixtures to come. And yeah, I'm happy with this tier 5. It shows for my efforts. We got a bit of rebate. We got something back. I nearly swapped out Lerma and brought in another midfielder, but I'm like, you know what? They're playing against 19th Leicester. Lerma can hit some decent AAs, you know. He was actually the first Premiership player I bought since the Prem arrived, or when the Prem arrived, and it was his super rare for 0.1. For cap modes, it was quite a savvy buy, if I do say so myself. Anyway, Second Division Europe Limited. Yeah, quite a nice side. Sorry, Kaba. A friend recommended me this dude. A friend who was like, my friend was playing So Rare like 4 days, and he recommended Sorry Kaba. He was like in and out of transfers, but he was like too good to not be playing for anyone. I think actually he was no agent for a while when I picked him up, when my friend recommended him. Shout out to my boy Thomas, Dutch Thomas, the Black Widow. Second Division Europe Rare. I love this Como defensive stack, even though really sad to see the beast Alfred Gomez have an error leading to a goal. I say it every week, but Alfred Gomez was recommended to me by Sam Ty on the always great Looking Up with Laird podcast. Would check that out if you got a bit of ETH in the bank. Looking Up with Laird, kick back, relax, get your So Rare data out, follow their watch list. I've picked up a lot of their suggestions now, and there's quite a decent success rate. Now, at your own risk, But yeah, I'm in there. Adama Traore, was really happy to see him come back into the Hull City side. Away to Sunderland, but I remember when I was choosing, it was either Adama Traore or Josh Cullen. And I know it sounds crazy not to go Mr. Consistent, Josh Cullen, Vincent Kompany's star pupil there, that he brought with him from Anderlecht to Burnley. And now they're going to be in the Prem soon. But Adama Traore, I remember looking at his scores for like all time, and there were some nice AAs, there were some big peaks. His last 2 games before this for Hull were successful. So I put him in. Dubison with some really hot form. Mikau Tadze with some really hot form. And I just have so much faith in this guy. I remember him just doing bits for Sorare in Belgium. The worst team in Belgium. He was still putting up really good performances. I mean, he was banging in a lot of goals. I know it's easy to stand out in bad teams, but it's not really easy to score a bunch of goals in bad teams. And he was doing that in Belgium. He went to Metz. He's banged hat-tricks. He's had some really big games where he's hit 3 decisives in multiple games for Metz in Ligue 2, I should call it. French pronunciation terrible. He's also doing bits for Georgia, by the way. He also is quite prolific for Georgia, his international side. Second Division Europe Rare Pro. We had the Saint Etienne boys together. Really like this duo, although they bricked it out against Paris. Bouchiari and Saidou Sow, quite good on the AA. And there's a real link there. Like as you can see in this bad score, when one of them performs well, the other performs well in terms of AA. They just kind of, you know what I'm saying? I think they're right beside each other on the pitch. They must be both left centre back, left centre mid, or something's going on there. There's a real synergy with them, which I like. And there's a lot of substance and strategies like that with these games. We put in Gotan here, who picked up a yellow card and is now suspended for the next game, which sucks. But yeah, couldn't even yield a reward with Mr. Clean Sheet himself, Lucas Zidane, at home. Yeah, pretty sad. Anyway, free-to-play Serie A. Couldn't get it done, really hard. This was a throwaway team, kind of. It was a Lazio stack with a really bad fixture. And an AC Milan stack duo with Giroud not being that likely to play. Although more likely than unlikely. My under 23s, I actually went for it. These Antwerp boys are quite nice. Battielli, Mandela Keita, quite good AA scorers, can hit some decent peaks. I'm actually looking at another Antwerp player just to put in just to build a bit of a stack. So Battiele is a defender, Keita is a midfielder, and it's Pacho, who's another dude I want to get. Want to get 2 defenders in there. Look at these scores. He's 21 years old. And you could actually have an under 23 stack with Pacho, with Keita, with Battielli. So it's quite cool. I'm looking into that. But no reward. A lot of teams 20, 30 points off. Under 23 rare, one of my strongest teams. Didn't prioritize it this week, but still one of my best teams. Completely bricked out. Worried about Georgi Mamardashvili. He's on a bad run of form. Valencia are in a relegation battle because of Valencia's bad run of form and Georgi's bad run of form. Not looking good. Was really hoping for something here against 19th Almeria. And 2 goals conceded with an error leading to one of them. Meh. Kavici captain, that's 2 bad scores in a row for him. Shuda Machino, the game before this, he actually scored 4 goals at home to Gambo Osaka. So that's why he got promoted into my under 23 rare side. Under 23 rare pro, last and probably least, a bit of a throwaway. No super rares in there. Kind of my leftover under 23s. Whatever. Throwaway team, punter's chance, definitely a chance. Pablo Ruiz, by the way, if you saw one of my recent videos while I was talking about my thinking behind Pablo Ruiz, he's been doing really shitty. But I noticed with his last 2 shitty scores before this big one, he actually just conceded decisives and hit nice 20 AAs. So they're kind of, see this 36 and this 35? He scored nice AAs, conceded a penalty, that can happen. Error led to goal, you know, can be a bit more critical of that, but these things can happen. Pablo Ruiz, for anyone who remembers, was a monster at times for Real Salt Lake. Look at these. While only 132 in this patch, not really getting less than 50 with all these peaks. And yeah, he's back, baby. He's back. Love Pablo Ruiz. Love seeing him do well. These are the type of scores he puts out with these fixtures. Great AA scorer. Obviously getting close to 90s and 100s with the decisives. Now, how long was it? How long were we chatting there? Fucking 40 minutes. Yikes. Well, it's going to be a long one. One for the nerds. Coins. I mean, I enjoy chatting about all of those teams. I hope someone else will take some enjoyment and listen to it all. Either way, you can fast forward to the rewards. Won't make a difference to me. Where are we going to go? Tier 3, Tier 3, Tier 3. Let's go Bundesliga Amateur. The free-to-play. The free-to-plays. A French forward in the Bundesliga. Oh, hello, Mr. I was going to say Thuram. Please. Thuram wouldn't be a Tier 3, would he? Man, I'm really happy with this, by the way. We fucking needed a Bundesliga forward. My Bundesliga Pro team has no forward. Literally, we've no Bundesliga forward because Anisowo, the main guy who plays for, is it Switzerland or something? He's just not playing anymore. So really happy to get this. Not happy to see those scores though, but we'll fucking take it, man. Really will. Okay, Tier 3 limited, cap 270. Yeah, we'll go second division Euro first. Who's it gonna be? It's another forward. Keep the forward. Andorra. Oh wow, I've backies for Andorra. German Valera, young gun. Interesting. Plea is worth $8, by the way. So let's just keep tabs here. Please worth 8 buckers. And what's his name? Valera. Andorra. Pair him up with Mr. Bakis up front for an offensive stack, eh? So we'll round him up to 3 because he's an under 23 and he'll probably rise. Scores are a bit shitty though. He'll be put in a cap mode if anything. But he's a decent one for a cap mode. If he's capable of these AAs, then it's really easy to outperform this. Is there any off the... Yeah, perfect. These off the bench scores as well. He's just a cap mode. He's a bit of a print. Because cap modes, you're looking to outperform. You're looking for 5 players. Well, for the cap 240s, you're looking for 5 players to just outperform their score by 2 points, right? You know, you can go about it different ways. Or 1 player to outperform by 10 and the other 4 to like break even. But for the most part, you just need them to outperform. You need a few outperformers on their L15s. And yeah, this guy's just going to outperform for the next 4 games, like on paper, in theory. Now, cap 270. Give me some juice. I mean, we got all the forwards. We can't ask for more forwards. He's a German defender. I knew this was coming. I thought it might have been Hubers. Jeff Chabot. Is he German? Jeff Chabot. Nice. Solid scores, man. God, he looks like I would not want to play against this guy. He looks like he'd fucking elbow ya and fucking kick ya and just be a general beast. Let's sort by AAs. Let's see did he do any of the freaky 55 AA stuff. These are some, I mean, fucking my granny would get 42 AA against Schalke. But hey, 2 fouls as well. Yeah, I like it. 16 effective clearances. I don't think I've seen that many before. 14 duels won. Sorry to go off here, but I want to see how tall he is. I'm going to guess Not Jeff Bezos. I'm gonna guess that he's. I'm gonna guess that he's 195 centimeters, like really tall. Swear to God, didn't see it. Swear to God, I had no idea, of course. But I just looked at the Jules one and said, he's gonna be about 195 centimeters tall. Yeah, I'm a decent guesser. I don't know why, but I just guess random shit and drill it sometimes. Now we're moving on to the rares. Give me this ETH first. Give me that money. Give me those $5. I did think it was 50 for a moment there. Forgot about the misery of Varela. Oy, oy, oy. Why did I have to remind myself of that? Tier 4 cap 270 coming in. Yeah, man. I'll take some reinforcements for areas that I don't really have. Oh, what a nice looking card. Nervinsky. By the way, oh yeah, we X'd it down. Of course we were going to do that. Nervinsky. Not an actual V. I mean, yeah, pretty nice. Tier 4, right? $3. So we're looking at 2, 3, 3, 7, 13, $21 from the limiteds. Oh, sorry, no way, he's a rare. Fuck yeah. Okay, not bad, not bad, not bad. Last but not least, tier 3 rare. Come on now. Give me some juice. Dutch. He's a Dutch midfielder. This is exciting. For 20, this is exciting. Michael Vlap. Michael fucking Vlap. My expectations are high. I've been learning this in life. I have another profession as well. It's poker. And I'm learning that expectations aren't really good. Confidence is good, but expectations, So let's calm down. For some reason, I'm just in. Yeah, of course. This is great, man. Nice challenger midfielder. Look at the cap mode potential with this guy. Please be AA, though. Please be straight AA coming in. I mean, decent AA. 27 here against Heerenveen. Like it. This was against Cambor, though, so it could be a time to even sell, to be honest, when he's just off the back of a Cambor at home fixture. Obviously, like, if we go L40, okay, there's actually decent decisives there. There's 10. It's a good way, if you want to know to sell a player, if they've got like 4 decisives in their L40 and 3 of them's in their L5, probably a good time to sell. Little tip for y'all. I mean, the video's been so long already, but fuck it, let's take a quick look at what we're doing for midweek. And then I'll love you and leave you. For anyone who's still here or who skipped to the rewards and is here now, thumbs up would be great. Although you probably just heard that a minute ago because you weren't sitting around for half an hour going through our teams. Midweek for ya. Brought in a couple of players and they were goalkeepers, but they're long-term choices. I realize with all the limited game modes, if you're going to buy a position, better do it sooner than later. And it's easy to get carried away and to just keep buying players because you're like, well, sooner rather than later. Don't DNP Villalaba. Anyway, a lot of tricky European fixtures, like a lot of big teams, but it's only going to get trickier in terms of fixtures because as these knockout tournaments progress, the teams are going to get better and yeah, the fixtures will be tougher. There's not going to be many easy ones. I do have some nice lineups though. I'm quite happy with what we've put out. We've cocked you at home to Roma. Enzo is just going to get around about 40 to 60 and around the 50s. He's not going to kill the team. He's really likely to get a 55 or some shit. Sordo's a dodgy one, but we were a bit bare on forwards. Danilo with like a 47 clean sheet chance against Sporting Lisbon. Courtois in nets. Yeah, this actually wasn't my first done team, and this cap 220 was my last team. So we'll actually do what I did first, which was cap 270. So I was like, right. I talked about this Leverkusen defensive stack when I was going through my teams. I really like Leverkusen defensive stack. Whether it's my Hinakapi super rare with one of these boys or these two together. It's mainly these two together. Against Union, they can definitely get like 160, 170 between them. We have Kavicha away to Milan. Was unsure about him, but we had room. Wanted to play our best keeper here. This is probably our best forward as well. And we had the extra points to put in the 66 cost Kavicha. Hopefully he does it now. Hopefully he does it against Milan. They get some revenge after losing 4-0 at home against them. But yeah, so we did this team first. And then we did our All-Star Rare. Oh wow, this game's now. We better get watching this, lads. We're such a twat. We've missed the whole first half. But you haven't. You've probably watched it. We did Cap 240 Rare. Sorry, we did All-Star Rare. 4 of these guys were really expensive, so they weren't going to get into cap modes with their 65 averages. Quite a strong team, though, with Sordo. 9th away to 6th. Or is it 6th away to 9th? Whatever. And then a bunch of throwaway teams. We'll see. We'll see. Cap 240 Rare is a legit one, though. I thought Mane might play because of his experience against City, but that might be a bit of a noob outlook on things. The Madrid boys, it makes sense to have them in Cap 240. If we think they're going to play, they're the kind of guys who'll get AAs, a lot of short passing game, attempted assists and that. Varane, my best defender and my cheapest defender for rares. Interesting that. A cost of 45, but probably just my best choice defender. You could argue Danilo as well, but Varane at home to Sevilla. Probably Danilo just edges it. But Danilo is like a 65 cost. Varane was a 45 cost. So, and don't think this team is dead from Mane, because it was we had a total budget of 240 points, right? I managed to get in a good keeper, good midfielders, and Varane. Mane has like a 35 L15. So he just needs to come off the bench and get a little bit of AA, and he might at worst like underperform his cost by like 5 points. Anyway, appreciate y'all sticking around. I love to dive into my teams. I love the strategy of this game, and I love trying to get better at it every week. Much love, everyone. Enjoy the midweek. Well, you've already enjoyed the midweek football for most of it. Enjoy Wednesday night's midweek football. I'm going to enjoy the second half of Bayern Man City right now. Thank you so much for sticking with me. And yeah, much more So Rare content to come. Promise will get better and better. More rewards. Climbing to the top. Peace, lads. Peace.